Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball. The Dodgers go out and get another player. The Giants and Mariners make a trade, and the Mets pick up some dudes. Let's do it. Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball. Thank you very much for joining us today. It's brought to you by SeatGeek, where you can use code TALKIN. My name is Jimmy, sitting here next to Jake. We got Trev from California and producer BBD behind the dish, back from vacation. How was your vacation, Beebs?
Vacation was good. Checked out a lot of European cities I haven't been to before, and probably not again, just realistically.
Nice.
But I liked it.
Good stuff. Trev, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to talk ball with the boys. Beavers, not exactly like a ringing endorsement for your European cities.
I loved Prague and Budapest, Vienna, blah. So in the right situation, I'd go back to the other two, though.
All right. How'd you end? I don't want to get into this too much. We'll
High
talk
school
afterwards.
friends, they organized a trip, and they were like, "Oh, you want to come too?" I was like, "Cool. I don't have to organize anything. Awesome."
Okay, fair enough.
That's the short version.
Jake, you look great. How are you doing?
Trev, James, Davis, Budapest. We'll finish with some Emmys award show stuff. So excited for that. Was that the one that was last night or no?
No idea. Golden Globes?
Yes, Golden Globes, hot in the streets. Some trades and more action, kind of teams avoiding the big free agents, but I don't know. Where there's smoke, there's fire. We're starting to get close. Trev's got his Robbie Rays jersey on. He was traded. So I'm excited to dive in with the fellas. It's January. I almost told Beebs to open the show with the TPP music just to get you boys fired up a little bit, but I thought we'd have enough juice on this beautiful January 8th.
We got a tiny bit of juice here.
A little bit of
I
juice.
got to be honest. What's up with the market? Can we get some fucking trades and signings and shit? We're getting deep. Like if we get, what's the date?
Today's January 8th.
Okay. Once we get to the January in double digits, you're basically a month away from spring training.
2 days.
2 days.
2 days.
Yeah. And like next week, we're basically 2 weeks away from spring training. Because all the dudes report early now. Fucking
the top like 4 free agents are all Boris guys, and he's willing to wait. So the team's got to step up.
That stinks. Anyway, we did get some moves. We got another Dodgers move. The Dodgers went out and got their guy. I don't know if you saw these quotes, Trev, but yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, the night before, Friedman came out. Friedman? Yeah.
Yep.
Came out and he had the quotes and he was like, right now our next agenda item is to add a righty outfielder who crushes lefties and can hold his own against righties. And some people joked like, yeah, everyone likes that guy. That's a good hitter. And then the other baseball reporters were like, so Teoscar. If you look at all the people that are, it was like, well, Randy via trade matches that, or free agency just Teoscar. Okay, so the Dodgers are trying to get Teoscar. And then like less than 12 hours later, it gets reported. So when he said that, he had to know exactly, which is just the Dodgers having so much fun. It's kind of like leaking his own moves.
Yeah, I mean, there's a combination of things that make the Dodgers able to do this. I mean, I think obviously they have the TV deal and they have the money, so they have the resources to go out and enter free agency for pretty much anyone, as they've shown this year, spending over $1 billion in one single offseason. But now it's to the point where they have such a good team on paper that guys are drawn to it. Hey, I'll do a 1-year deal. I'll be surrounded. A bunch of guys will be on base in front of me. This is what Teoscar's thinking. A bunch of guys are going to be on base. My counting stats are going to go up because of that. And I got a chance to win a World Series and play with Ohtani and be in LA. Like, it's just, there's a lot of things going on with the Dodgers organization right now. Not only are they considered one of the best for people to go play for, but now they have the roster to back it up and they have the ability to spend. I mean, there's so many reasons why this made sense. And then we get the deferral part of this. $8.5 million of the 23.5 will be deferred. And it's funny because, we talked about Ohtani and that crazy contract. And at the time, and Beebs, can you fact check this for me? I want to make sure it's actually from his account. I believe Justin Turner tweeted out, whoever buys the team next is going to be paying all this money. And is that what they're doing? Do you think that's for sure what they're doing? Deferring all this money, I know it helps in the moment as well with the AAV and what they have to pay against the CBT. But do you think that's their plan, to blow it out for 8 years and then just say, hey, we're out?
That's what I said on the initial reaction with you and Rosie, but you guys shot it down. But I was like,
well, I mean, it's different coming from us. I never played for the Dodgers organization. I don't think you guys ever played for the Dodgers organization. But like Turner, like he's Dodger royalty, and for him to come out and say this is pretty nuts.
He could just be like, just fucking around too.
Yeah.
Good joke. Yeah, he tweeted, next ownership group will figure it out, and the like big eyes emoji. Not the eyeballs, but like face making big eyes on December 11th. He was in Nashville when he tweeted it.
Oh.
It says from Nashville.
Man,
was that winter meetings?
The eye emojis.
That wasn't winter meetings.
Eye emojis changes that situation a little bit. And being in Nashville, maybe JT was. Should I fire off this tweet? You love it. You love it. I don't know about selling the team. I'm not sure if that's going to be a thing. We'll cover it in 8 years if we do. The only thing I'd know with that isn't Yoshinobu's opt out. Like he can opt out if they sell the team or whatever. So maybe that part doesn't matter. Either way, Teoscar. I've always loved Teoscar Hernandez because he's a threat constantly, whether he's having a good time or a bad time. He can be streaky. He had 2 months last year where he had a 900-plus OPS. The other months he kind of struggled. He also had great road numbers last year, and we've seen players go to Seattle for a year, not known as a hitter's haven, and struggle a little bit. So what's going on there is Teoscar, where his numbers were a little down last year, he's willing to take a chance on himself, hitting 7th or 8th in the Dodgers lineup. My goodness. And he gets paid more than people expected per year because he only took the 1-year deal. So he's going to try to do a little get right with the Dodgers. And then, Fangraphs had him getting about a 3-year for $15 million per year. And he ends up getting, $24.5 million for this 1 year of baseball. So betting on himself a little bit. I also think this is the Dodgers. Hey, you're deferring all this money for everyone? Then let's pay Teoscar a little bit this year. We'll defer a little bit just for funsies because that's where we're at. But, I mean, they boost their lineup, and he's a guy that I don't mind batting 5-hole on a good team, never mind 7, 8, 9. So you have to love it if you're a Dodgers fan.
If you're a Mariners fan, could have just given him the qualifying offer. You would have a draft pick.
What was the qualifying offer money this year, though?
It was similar, but he wasn't going to take it. I mean, his agent...
Less than what he got.
His agent, Rafa, who is active on social media, which is fun to see the thoughts of an agent. He was tweeting out, like, early October, the splits of, like, how good his numbers are on the road and how bad they were at T-Mobile Park. I mean, he had a 486 slugging on the road and 380 at T-Mobile. 295 batting average on the road and 217. So, yeah, Mariners kind of cost themselves a draft pick there, and Teoscar gets to have some fun. He also tweeted out that MLB outfielders with 25 homers in each of their last 4 full seasons, Teoscar, Judge, Soto, Schwarber.
I love those butter knife stats. Those are the best.
Yep. Hey, get your agent some money. He also tweeted out that it's January 3rd. Only MLB position players besides Ohtani who have signed for more than 2 years. Candelario and Gurriel, who had to go back to his team. So something's going on. I mean, Kiermaier came out and said that he was got way less offers than he did last year.
Slight Mitch Garver loophole.
Giolito, well, maybe that was after this. I don't know. Giolito was like, not a lot of people were coming. I don't know. We're getting all the hush hush is similar to 2018, where it's like no one wants players right now. Kind of crazy. But good for the Dodgers because they do, and they're getting all of them.
Yeah, I'm interested to see, kind of how it all shakes down in LA. I believe he's going to be there starting everyday left fielder. You got Outman in center field, and then you got some sort of mixture of Margot and Jason Hayward in right field. I'm still like I can't wrap my head around Mookie Betts playing second base every single day, but that's where we're at. This Dodgers lineup is a menace. There's something about Seattle, and I don't think it's for every hitter, obviously, but when you go there, it feels cavernous, especially as a right-handed hitter. You get up there, and I know they've had some really good pitching too, and that might affect kind of the way I see it. It's a little cold there. The ball doesn't necessarily fly great there. I think left-handed hitters have it a little bit better in Seattle. I could see how that could, especially if you come from Toronto and then you go to Seattle, I could see how that could weigh on you mentally when you step up to the park there and you don't feel as strong as you do standing in Toronto's batter's box. You get up there and you're like, dang, I got to really pump one to get it out of here. And that's, not the case in every single park. So I'm a fan of that logic. Like, hey, like sometimes you just don't see the ball well somewhere. Like, let's get the heck out of there. Willie Adames, another great example of that, going from Tampa to Milwaukee. Dalton has a great note on our sheet. Teoscar has played in 29 parks. The only one he hasn't played in is Coors. And in a small sample size at Dodger Stadium, he's 0 for 7.
Oh,
no hits.
I wonder who is pitching.
I see that ending.
The Dodgers have so many lefties. For a sport, baseball, you see predominantly like righty starting pitchers. They have 6 lefties, and they're starting 9 now on those days. That's crazy.
And they'll sub out 3 of them when there's a lefty on the bump.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, this is the Chris Taylor going into like a super utility role. I think is perfect for him. Like their bench is looking a lot better. Yeah, this is good.
Yeah, and I think I said this on here. Miggy Rojas dubbed me a little bit because I was on the Dodgers should trade for Corbin Burns and Willie Adames. And for me, it was kind of everything we're saying, right? The Dodgers are going all in. Gavin Lux coming off of significant injury, Miggy Rowe. If you're putting the chips all in, keep going. And we posted that as a social media clip, and Miggy Rowe replied with "We're all good," with a smiley face. So that's Miggy Rojas' translation for "Go fuck yourself, little guy." So they might just be good there because they're good everywhere.
If Gavin Lux can't handle an everyday shortstop role and maybe the offense isn't there or maybe the defense isn't there, like you have Miggy Rowe that you can just plug in there. He's going to be a good defensive shortstop. They have enough offense around. They can do that. That's
how you can keep Gavin Lux to 125 games next year coming off that injury. You can have Miggy Rowe play. Like they got to figure it out. They still need a little more pitching right now. Yamamoto, Glasnow, Buehler, Miller, Sheehan. You'd like to think they do something else, but they're looking fine. They're looking good too. They're looking good.
They're looking pretty good. I'm trying to find the Dodger pitchers that got Teoscar out, and it is a wild Griffin Canning.
Okay, shout out Griffin Canning,
and that's got to be wrong.
He's an Angels.
Yeah,
guy.
I clicked one up. So here we go.
Okay.
Caleb Ferguson.
Yep.
Got him.
He's still there.
And then we have Walker Buehler.
Sure.
Walker Buehler.
See him on the mound again.
Pedro Baez.
Gone.
Not still there.
So he stinks at Dodgers Stadium. That's Clayton Kershaw. He'll be back. Is he not? Is this the thing? Is this where like everyone thinks he's going to come back? Everything's going to come back, and then finally it happens.
He's coming back.
Okay.
They're like 17 to 20 mil, Clayton. That's what you're going to get. Just let us know what you want. Clayton's probably going to take 17 because he's just a phenomenal person.
Probably going to take 20. The numbers that are coming out. Well, you threw Teoscar 24 and a half?
You think he says that? Like, look, guys, we all know I'm coming back, but you got to up it. I've been undervalued the last 3 years. Like, let me get that 26, 27. They probably would do it.
I like them texting just one number back and forth every day. Sometimes they go up, sometimes they go down. Sometimes there's a silly one. Like he sends like a 375 mil with like a tongue out emoji.
Do you think he does it?
Take it in Bitcoin.
Kershaw's got to be like totally by the wayside, right? His agent just feels like he's like a just tell me at the end to his agent. Completely
He's like already
ignorant.
packing his bag up to go to their spring training site.
Yeah.
Maybe he's packing. He's probably not. He's got a good head of lettuce on him. Nutrafol, but the point with Nutrafol is even if you have a good head of lettuce, preventatory is a word I like to use that I think is a word. 80% of men will experience hair thinning in their lifetime. Me, Jim, Trev, BBD might be clear. God, that stuff is growing.
Right now.
That stuff is growing on that head. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist-recommended hair growth supplement brand with over 1 million people seeing thicker, stronger, faster growing hair. That sounded like that Black Eyed Peas song for a second. Thicker, stronger, faster. Nutrafol. Take the first step to visibly thicker, healthier hair. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com/men and enter promo code TALKBASE. TALKBASE. Go find out. Nutrafol.com/men. Talk base. There's a link in the description. Get ahead of it from behind it.
Get ahead of it from behind it.
It's not in there.
The Giants and Rays.
That's not a slogan.
That's not in there.
It's not a slogan. We make up slogans here. The Giants and Rays made a trade. Robbie Ray.
No.
Giants and goddamn Robbie Ray. Giants and Mariners.
Trev got you there.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a little brainwashing.
Yeah. Giants and Mariners made a trade. Robbie Ray goes from the Mariners to the Giants, and the Mariners acquire Mitch Haniger and Anthony DeSclafani. And this trade, for a while, I was like, I know it's a salary dump, but does this do anything for either team? I am not casting a decision there. I just need to be told what this does for each team. Jake.
I'll go first.
Thank you.
If you are the San Francisco Giants, you got Robbie Ray, who won a Cy Young. We've been through the strikeout numbers before and how they're, kind of comically good. He gets hurt. TJ, I had a laugh, and this isn't I was just laughing at what baseball and sports are. Robbie Ray signs for 5 years to the Seattle Mariners, and you're like, damn, like this is a guy, Robbie Ray puts together a good 4 or 5 years. Are we retiring numbers? And then injury, trade, you're a Giant. So he's supposed to come back middle of this year. I think they owe him, $83 million. So for 2.5 years of Robbie Ray, that's what the Giants are paying. So for me, this was the Giants saying, hey, for the free agent pitching market, we would rather go get Robbie Ray. We'll get off of Mitch Haniger's contract as well to kind of neutralize the money a little bit. Mitch has been banged up when he plays well, which he did with Seattle, so they take him back. When he's healthy and out there, but that's kind of been one of his problems. So they do that, and the Mariners also get Anthony DeSclafani back, which if you go watch Jolly Olive's video on the 2021 Miracle Giants, Anthony DeSclafani, my paisan, he's thrown some innings in this league, some ups and downs. I know during that 21 season, I think he tapped more into a slider. Maybe the Mariners think there's something with that going on. So they get some innings for this year. Maybe they get something out of Haniger. They get off of Robbie Ray. While the Giants, I think their risk reward was, hey, let's bring in Robbie Ray. We believe in our coaching staff, and if we can get 2.5 years of Robbie Ray at that price, that might be the better financial decision than taking a risk on some of these free agents. So that's a little Jakey Spice's opinion on it.
I think you crushed it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
I guess now my thought process is like I understand all of that. I just don't like what the Mariners are doing. And,
Bingo.
I forgot Robbie Ray was there for so many years. So for the Giants, if he returns to form, and they got Webb, they got some pitchers. I like what they have in the future. It's not like a Giants move for this year, obviously. But for the Mariners, this is said this to you before the show. They're like the Guardians now, but I don't think they have the ability to win their division like the Guardians can win their division by doing what they're doing. Like they're making all these trades to get off payroll and get major league players back, but it's kind of like trading this fish for that fish, and I don't know if you're getting better or worse in the mix, but you're just doing stuff. Like they get Disco for 1 year and Haniger for 2, and he's making decent money, like $20 million and then $15 million. I don't know if the Giants ate any of that. Probably not. It's like the Robbie Ray. So it's like you just got rid of guys who were making that much money to dump them. Now you got him back, but you got Robbie Ray gone. But that in the end, I don't know. The Mariners are confusing the hell out of me.
I think you guys nailed it. I mean, yeah, it is a little bit confusing, but for the Mariners, here's something that I found that's really interesting. So he had Robbie Ray had a full no trade his first 2 years of the contract. So this year was the first year he could get traded. He got traded. I think DePoto or in the Mariners organization is just like, we might have messed this one up. How do we get this money off the books? And there probably wasn't in my opinion, I mean, I don't know. I don't think there was probably a lot of traction there. So when they saw a deal that they liked and were like, oh, we could see this happening, they took it. They got that money off the books. I like Haniger going back there. They haven't there wasn't any room for him in San Francisco because you got Yaz, Conforto, Jung-Hoo Lee now. Wilmer Flores is gonna like be in the mix there, DH. So like he was expendable in San Francisco, and there's like a new outfield in Seattle, which is kind of fun. You know, Haniger. They bring in Luke Raley, who we haven't talked about yet, but he just got traded over there. And what's his name? J-Rod in center field. So like I dig it. I kind of see what they're doing there. The Mariners have a bunch of starting pitching too. So they don't necessarily need Robbie Ray, and to get that money off the books, and maybe they just weren't convinced of him. I know DePoto said nice things about him, as all GMs do when they trade away players. But I mean, if there is an organization and you just don't feel like it's a good fit with the player, then they took the first opportunity they could to get rid of him. And I think the Giants, that's fine with the Giants too, because you do have a guy who can be elite when healthy. And you know, like that organization thinks that they can take these seemingly older projects and kind of fix them up, at least in 2021. Go check Jolly's video out. That's exactly what they did. I do have a trivia question for you guys, and you're probably going to get it. What's Robbie Ray's best pitch been in his career?
Well, slider?
Fastball.
That's what I thought too. It's his four-seam fastball has always been his best pitch as far as run value is concerned. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all. So, look, I think he's kind of a two-pitch pitcher. Maybe they just go add a sweeper because that's what every single person does. And all of a sudden, Robbie Ray is going to be an all-star Cy Young vote getter again. I don't know. I think it makes sense for both sides. I'm happy for Haniger, though, to go back up to Seattle because I think sometimes you go somewhere and then you get to go back home to where you're comfortable. I think it could help.
Robbie Ray added a sinker in 2022, which is why I liked him going into 2023, and I put him on my Cy Young votes draft, but then he got hurt. He didn't throw it in 2023 before he got hurt anyway. He just went back to straight two-pitch pitcher, fastball, slider. Does what he does.
How about this? 2017, the run value on his four-seamer was 22. It's elite. 2019, 17 run value. And then all of a sudden, 2020, the COVID year, Jake's favorite year in existence, minus 14. What happened?
Okay.
And then it went back up, 21, 9, 2022. I mean, that's a weird thing.
Yeah, I think the whole thing that year he got crazy wild, and then he went to Toronto. He got with his old pitching coach, and they found it again. I don't know, man. No, it's funny about this free agency, and it's kind of what I said, but I can articulate it a little better now. Like Robbie Ray in my head, I didn't have him as like inning eater Robbie Ray. Robbie Ray has 120 plus innings pitched in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seasons, which I don't know. I've been looking at some of these guys that we've been talking about, and they're not on that boat. So if you're the Giants and Giants fans, like we mentioned Jung-Hoo Lee and Robbie Ray, like when you start looking at this offseason, it's like, okay, we've added some potential talent where the Mariners fans, their biggest goal has been move around salary and like mix it up. So maybe there's more coming, maybe there's not. And the whole thing was getting rid of the strikeout. So we've heard that. But I think bigger picture, like I got excited, like the formation of this show, I got excited. I thought Seattle's window was coming. It looked like Seattle's window was here. And then it looked like it closed instantly because Houston's still Houston and the Texas Rangers came on the scene.
Yeah, I was excited for that too.
I think Mariners fans were too.
Looking
Just
at
a little more Robbie Ray stuff real quick, Jim.
Oh, I got a little more for you too.
Oh, let's do it. I'm going to go
go shot for shot. Who's got the best thing?
Well, I think it's a little bit of recency bias with Robbie Ray because obviously he's hurt, had a bad
Can you say his name right?
Pitched at all. Robbie Ray?
Robbie Ray.
Robbie Ray.
Robbie Ray? Did I say that?
No, that's how we say it.
Oh, that's how you say it. Okay. 2021, the guy threw 32 starts to a 2.84. 2022, 32 starts to a 3.71. I mean, you're off 1 year. I think that's what the Giants see in this guy. And the ability to get a guy for 2.5 years at a cost-controlled, decent price.
Okay. My one note on Robbie Ray is speculative, but it's just a thought. You talked about his fastball, so I went and looked at the average spin rate, and it looks like maybe in 2020 when the whole league got caught up testing stuff out, maybe he tried something and then decided not for him because it goes nice little peak and then right back down to normal after 2020. But it's not that much, actually, when you look at it. It's like 300 RPM.
So he went up in 2020.
Yeah, he went up,
down.
And the results went down. So I have no fucking idea. But if you wanted to do fan fiction, you could be like, maybe he was like, let me try this shit out. And then did. And he was like, fuck that. My hands are naturally pretty good.
I think we should turn this whole show into fan fiction.
Welcome to Talkin' Yanks.
It's the dream.
Like Robbie Ray next year, San Francisco, ditches the tight pants. They're out. Nobody wears tight pants anymore. It's all about the bag. What if he comes out in just ridiculously baggy pants just to say, I'm switching things up on you?
Your MLB debut pants.
Yeah, big ol' cut the elastic out the bottom, over the shoe. Sometimes you hook the back spike in. I never did that.
The Robbie Ray I know has the tight pants on underneath the baggy pants. He's going 2 pants.
It's a big reveal. Playoff game.
Double pantser.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
That
Somebody
is a big
pantses
reveal.
him during the big day.
He is prepared. Well, that's Robbie Ray.
It's Robbie Ray. Hey, the Mets placed a couple bets on some free agents.
They did.
Speaking of jolly. And speaking of bets, the DraftKings Sportsbook, official sports betting partner of the NFL playoffs. We've got 2 John Boy Media against the spread champions here. Congrats, Trevor. Congrats, myself, as always. And you can get in on the action. If you bet $5 on any game, you get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code TALK, and new customers can bet just $5 to get $200 instantly in bonus bets only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code TALKIN. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, 21 plus. Ages vary by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/football for eligibility, deposit restriction terms, and responsible gaming resources.
Wow.
Should we do the Caballero and all those trades before we get to the Mets?
Jake likes the Mets more.
Caballero.
All right.
We can chew off all the little guys at the end.
Who's the little guy? Harrison Bader?
He's roped up, dude.
He is roped
You
up.
seen his swipes?
He'd fuck me up. He'd fuck me up.
Mess you up.
Fast twitch muscles.
Well, it's Bader, but it's also Manaea.
Yes.
And, Manaea's kind of been out of the, baseball fans' brains for a couple years. This dude was really, really good. I saw him personally throw a no-hitter against the Red Sox. So I was there when that happened. I jinxed and cursed the Red Sox into it. So the Mets signed him 2 years, $28 million. opt out after the first season. Nice. And Bader, where does he fit with the Mets, Jake? Is he going to be their everyday center fielder?
Right now, Fangraphs has him slotted in 9-hole center field. Harrison Bader's story at this point, he mashes lefties, not so hot against righties. Not sure if there's adjustments that can be made there or if it is what it is at this point. Watching him play center field is one of the more fun things I think you can see in this sport. There's a little bit of a showman to it, and there's a little bit of impressiveness. I mean, he can cover ground. Good arm, too, for a center fielder. He's a fine... If he's going to be in the bottom of your lineup, like, you're going to get defense and you're going to get contributions. He had some big playoff games for the Yankees. It felt like he had big games when he did contribute. He feels like a 3-for-5 guy, surrounded by a couple 0-for-4, something like that. That's just raw feel and nothing. If he's in a platoon, you love it. If he's at the bottom of the lineup, catching balls in the outfield, it's a helpful player to have on your team. And maybe for 1 year, if he can tap into something a little more, I mean, he's a guy that can rack up four WAR easily for you.
I have a question.
Sure.
How much did Kiermaier get from the Blue Jays?
110.5.
And Bader got
10.5.
1 for 10.
10? Same?
I believe 10.5 and 10 respectively. So
I
essentially the same.
think your guy Kiermaier got done dirty, Trev. And I think you let him know that I'm upset that he should have got more money.
Okay.
Bader's very good at center field, but Kiermaier hit last year.
Strong side of the
Kiermaier arguably had a better year than Teoscar.
Yeah.
It's been interesting, and free agency in general is you see this over the last, I don't know, just 6-7 years, maybe even longer than that. You'll see a lot of guys come out and say, man, like, it's weird. I got the same offer from all the clubs. Like, how is that possible? How is it possible that I'm getting the exact same verbiage and offer from these clubs? I'm not saying there's collusion amongst clubs. I'm not saying that.
No.
I would never say that. Although it's been proven, and Paul Mulder has shared many things with me about that. He actually got paid because he was colluded against. It seems to me like there's probably some talks, some birdies out there just saying, hey, this is what we're going to pay. This is what everyone should pay. But then, yeah, you get something like this where, you'd figure Kevin Kiermaier and Harrison Bader would be probably on the same tier. If not, you just mentioned Kiermaier maybe a little tick above because of the season he had. But it seems like, man, when you get a price set on you, you get a price set on you. And that's why this whole Shohei Ohtani thing, I think, was genius. Whether Ohtani's camp wanted to actually just really shut all the numbers down or not, because there was some talk, like Nez came out and said, like, we never really said all that. That was just kind of a media thing. I think it works. If teams really aren't talking and you really don't have numbers out there, being projected and being leaked, I think it helps people out. But yeah, I don't really have an answer for you, James, because that made sense what you just said. So
Good for Bader. He's a local guy, gets to stay in hometown. It's just another long line of guys the Yankees have that then the Mets get. Who'd they do that with earlier? Severino. Betances, Todd Frazier.
All this
They
stuff
still got to get
nuts,
Urshela.
Yeah, they're going to get Gio, obviously.
They're paying taxes on all of these numbers too. Like, they're in the 4th tax threshold. Like Manaea, we can talk about Manaea, but first his contract. They're paying $15.8 million in taxes on Manaea's salary next year. So they're actually paying $29.8 to have this guy pitch for them with the opt-out. So that's just for the 1 year. And then they have the next year as well. Like, they're in crazy territory right now. And I don't know what they do to get out of it. You have to get under the tax threshold to get out of the threshold that you're in, but I don't see how they can do that, especially if they're trying to sign Pete Alonso to an extension. Like, they're going to have to be paying 100% on the dollar.
I have a question, and maybe this is better suited for the TPPs coming up. The Mets right now, Jake,
Right.
If you compare them to the Mets before last season and the Mets before the season before that, where does this stand?
Not as exciting as last year, but where did that get them? I don't know. Like I think
the Mets not.
The Mets still have talent. I mean,
Yeah,
I like the Mets roster.
Nimmo, McNeil, Lindor, Alonso, Marte. There's some young guys, Alvarez, Beatty. Then they've got some potential click options. The staff right now, I mean, you're really leaning on Senga after 1 year. It was an incredible year, and the Ghost Fork looks gross. Like Pitch Ninja's been tweeting it out recently. I think he had an interview with hitters about it. But right now, 2 through 5 in the rotation are question marks. Could some of those question marks come through? Could Quintana become a quality start specialist again? Could Sevy bounce back? Manaea's got some butter knife stats that I know that Jolly was getting into, and he's pitched a lot of big league innings. That if Sean Manaea puts together a solid season, I wouldn't be shocked. But there's just a lot of question marks there that I don't know. Right now, it feels like the Mets kind of, as they said, they're not all in on this next season. I do think they want to give themselves a chance because, I mean, the 84-win Diamondbacks made it to the World Series, so if they can hang around come deadline season, they'll stay in the mix. But, I mean, right now the Braves and Phillies, it doesn't really feel like a discussion, and even, the Marlins were 9 games better than them last year.
I want to stay on Manaea for a little bit. We know the numbers overall not great. In San Francisco, in May, what do they have him do? What does every pitcher do as of late?
Sweep me.
Add a sweeper. Add a sweeper.
Ooh.
He added it to his repertoire at the end of May. Hitters hit 140, 161, 163 against the pitch. They swung and missed at it 35.1% of the time it was thrown. So the Mets are obviously seeing that. He made some starts in September that were good. They're banking on him being that guy. But that's I like the Mets lineup, and I even like the Mets depth in their lineup. But the pitching staff is a lot of things have to work out really. Like everything has to be A+ in that staff,
I
or else
agree.
they're going to have to continue to add.
Yeah, I agree. That's kind of where I'm at with it.
I think the potential with the lineup is a lot of fun.
Yeah, last year they're going to be really, really good.
Me too. But 1 year happens to teams. It does.
It does. You want to cover all these little bitty moves?
I'll tee it up for you boys. We hit Luke Raley a little bit, Robbie Ray's cousin, who, an all JMU Till guy, had really like an awesome year last year. 19 homers, 130 WRC plus, and 400 plate appearances. He can play all 3 outfield spots and some first base. He stole 14 bags too, so he can do a little bit of everything. And it's an interesting because if the Rays are willing to move on, is it the Rays like, hey, we're turning an asset that we got for nothing to turn into another asset? Or do they think Raley was maybe over his head? Because he was really good last year. And they trade him in for Caballero, who could potentially play some shortstop and middle infield for him. I'll be honest, I only have one image of Caballero. Him and Garrett Cole got into a little duel last year.
He's a menace.
Which was he's a menace. He's the perfect Ray. He's the perfect Ray. So I'm dreading Caballero as a Ray. And Luke Raley, out of the Mariners' moves, I'll be honest, that's the one that I probably like the most at this point. And then the other kind of smaller fun one, our guy, Richie Palacios, Spring Training House, 21, traded for Andrew Kittredge, who he's thrown a lot of big innings out of the Rays bullpen before. This is a very Rays trade and I think a Cardinals trade. Cardinals cash in on an asset that they I don't know. They kind of stumbled into Richie a little bit. They've needed bullpen help. If they could get Andrew Kittredge to be good Andrew Kittredge, that's a solid reliever in the back of your bullpen. Where, meanwhile, the Rays, again, will probably tap into Richie Palacios. He'll be a pest, and the rest of the league will hate him. So that's kind of Jakey's around the league boop.
All right. I'm going to start with the Palacios and Kittredge. I was mad at the Cardinals for doing it because I think Palacios, I mean, he played really well for them in limited time last year, and I think he's got a ton of potential and a ton of team control. But you're right, like they got him for cash from the Guardians. They don't need him necessarily. Like they have enough depth where like he's expendable. So if you're an organization and you hit on a guy and he does have a nice couple months for you, go ahead and get something that you really need for next year. So I understand it from the Cardinals' standpoint. You do bring in Kittredge. The Rays on Kittredge are like, dude, we've had this guy for years and have basically paid him nothing. He has had some big innings for us. He was closing out games for us. But I believe he's a free agent after this year.
I think
third year ARB. So they're trading a guy in who they've just milked for years, paying nothing, and they turn him into a guy they can control for 6 years. Like that's very Rays-ish to me. And those two guys they got, Caballero and Palacios, very Raysy guys. Utility-esque, can play multiple positions. Caballero's stats, minor league stats are really good, like hitting wise. Like this guy could turn into something like an Eddie Escobar, something like that, which would be huge for the Rays because that's how they use guys. And then the whole Wander situation that we really haven't talked about. Wander Franco's probably done playing baseball.
So definitely
in
done.
the States. You can say definitely done. So they need a shortstop, dude. They need someone to go play. They got a couple guys there that they like internally, but if you can bring in a guy who, again, I think last year was his first year, so he has another 5 years of team control. Getting rid of Luke Raley, though, is...
Yeah, I was just
that
reading.
He come back to bite them, man.
He had no options, and they have so many outfielders. Yeah. But they got now Walls. Who's the kid that came up for Wander? Basabe? How do you say it?
Yeah.
Basabe.
Around it.
And and Caballero now, who the other two are supposed to be glove first, weak hitters. I think Caballero is supposed to be weak glove, good hitter. So
Caballero and Caminero now.
God,
Rays.
They love their names.
Rays.
That's tough. That's tough. That dude is such a pest, though. Like he can steal bases. He thinks he's like got the smoldering look of who's the smoldering Brave that's not around anymore? Pache? No, who was the Brave in 20?
Pache had a smolder tool.
There was a Brave in 2021.
Smolder Brave. Camargo.
Camargo.
Yes.
Yohan Camargo.
Hot. Caliente. Jess's favorite player. Right now, 6 through 8 in the Rays lineup, Palacios, Siri, Caballero. That's just a bad time. Like I know it's not the scariest part of a lineup you've seen, but that's just a bad time.
That came up in talks though when the Rays were like, hey, we could get this guy Caballero. Like, do you remember that fucking stare down match he had with Garrett Cole? Like, that'll be fun for us to watch. That came up, man.
Yeah, I remember. I remember the exchange. Yeah, Caballero. Yeah, he was kind of that guy. It was kind of he was doing his thing and I was doing mine.
That's when Cole threw one like 20 feet in the air, right?
Yes.
Over his head.
Skied it.
I love
like
that.
he got under his skin.
Well, Cole got the best of him in the end, though.
Struck him out.
Yeah, well, of course he's filthy.
I miss high with the
but all the Rays have had guys that have gotten like under Cole's skin, and they got the best of him. That was actually the biggest thing Cole fixed last year was he didn't let a bad thing ruin his outing. Got him the Cy Young.
Be a kid's book.
It's true. He even talked about it. Like he used to
preseason. He talked about that being like
what he was going to focus on
about this offseason.
Yeah.
Can I say something that sticks out to me about the Rays roster resource page?
Sure.
Yandy Diaz, 32 years old, listed as their first baseman leadoff hitter. Every other position player currently listed on their roster, and all 5 currently listed starting pitchers. Ages start with a 2. I don't know what to do with that. Different numbers within the 20 range there, but
bunch of youngins.
This is a Grosso Rays team that we've seen in a while.
Yeah.
And Johnny DeLuca, your guy.
Johnny, by the way, kind of roped up, bigger than I thought he was. Thick boy.
Oh.
Can we talk Luke Raley a little bit? Because we didn't talk about him going to Seattle, and this is why I want to talk about him. Okay.
Okay.
I want to talk about. I think his swing fucking plays. There's certain guys that you watch, you're like, okay, that swing plays. Like it's going to work. Or like it's so simple and repeatable that the slumps won't necessarily be there. Now, I'm not saying this guy's going to go and be a perennial all-star, but he has a chance, man. Like it's the same swing that you'd see like well, I don't want to give him this because I think he strikes out much more than Michael Brantley. But shout out Michael Brantley, by the way, retired.
Congrats.
One of my favorite hitters to watch. But an easy, simple, repeatable swing. And we even talked about this with a guy on the Twins, Kirilloff. Like repeatable lefty swing is going to get it done. Like this guy's going to be a productive big league hitter. How far he goes, I mean, we'll see. What kind of adjustments can he make? Can he, all that stuff.
Do they let him face lefties?
That's the thing. Because almost all of his at bats last year were against righties. So he has to be able to do that.
But he was fine against lefties. He was fine against lefties.
Yeah, he just didn't do it a lot, which is a Rays thing. But I like this. Like it's so repeatable and so clean, and he can steal bases. Like we talked about him quite a bit last year. But I think that if he's out there playing every single day, I think we're going to see some numbers out of him next year. I like the swing.
Our final segment, where's Snell going?
Chris Rose says he's not an East Coast guy, even though he won a Cy Young with the Tampa Bay Rays. But
it's a good clip of you two.
I think we've said that.
It's a good clip. That was a good clip of my big bro.
Dan Rourke's like, 5 ERA in Yankee Stadium.
And my uncle going at it.
We've had some heated discussions as of late.
He's not an East Coast guy. He pitched in Tampa.
That's Florida.
That's true.
There's sides to both arguments.
Point C Rose and point Jimmy. Florida is Florida.
Yeah. It's different.
Yeah. In baseball speak, it's the Northeast.
Okay.
That's where you
He's
have
like,
all your
New York media.
That's where you have all your
I think
media.
New York media gets a little too much.
No.
Where's he signing, Trev?
When you look around, like when I lived in California and when saw the A's and the Giants coverage, and then I was like reading Yankee stuff, I was like, oh, I get it. They're promoting their team. New York, they're taking them down.
You don't have to pay attention to it.
Well, when you fuck up, and then there's 15 reporters at your locker waiting for you, and then if you don't show up, now there's 15 reporters writing a bad article about you. That doesn't happen.
Accountability is huge.
Yeah.
100%.
So much.
Giancarlo Stanton, king of it.
Yes.
Just go say, my fault. I need to be better.
Yeah. Well, for good or for worse, there is a difference to it. But I think Snell could handle that fine. He can talk. It just does he want to. He's got a relaxed vibe. But now there's rumors saying he wants the Yankees, but that's just nothing.
Stroman wants the Yankees. Snell wants the Yankees. Everybody wants the Yankees.
Why? Go want the Dodgers.
In January, they want the Yankees, huh?
Go want the Dodgers.
Their agents have no reason not to get the Yankees.
Let's, on three, all four of us, let's say where Snell goes. I like this game, okay?
Oh, shit.
Ready? Ready?
No, I'm not ready.
1, 2, 3.
Dodgers.
Chicago.
Beavers didn't say anything.
I muttered Red Sox. I don't know.
What did you say,
Prepare
Trev?
yourself.
San Fran.
Nice.
Dodgers. Did you say Cubs?
Yeah.
Sure.
I just the Cubs have spent a lot on a manager and haven't spent any other money.
Have they signed anybody?
No, I mean, go look
not
at
one, right?
Well, I mean, yes, they maybe signed 12 people that are you don't know of. Like they've done so
Minor
much
league
like
deals.
manicuring. If you go look at their transactions right now on Fangraphs, it's hilarious. But nothing on the major league level. But they spent so much money on a manager that if they don't get something, it might be looked at as like all-time
Just weird.
weird bad off seasons ever.
If they have a horrible season, my managerial take will just be cemented forever.
Dude, maybe that's their point. Maybe they're saying the manager matters so much. We got Counsell. We don't need to go pay for the best player. Counsell will turn a C into an A.
They said that.
He's the council curve. So we're not judging for that. All their players just got better because Council's around.
I guess.
No.
Shout out Craig Council.
You don't guess. You disagree.
I don't.
And so do I.
I disagree big time.
And so
massively disagree.
And so does everyone.
As I suppose, devil's advocate situation. I suppose what they'd put out there is like, well, he's a long-term play. One off-season flip is hard. Like he'll be there 5 years or whatever. Best argument I've got for him is that they're thinking long-term. But do something, because this is weird. That's not what
Craig
I
Council's
believe.
fault. Like he just went out and got double pay. Like that's not his fault.
Maybe that was his pitch. Maybe we don't need players. You got Craig Council.
That's what they said.
I'll play the fellas.
They said he'll take yours and beat you, or what the fuck did they say?
I can make Nick Madrigal the best you ever seen.
Shout out Nick Madrigal.
Shout out. Haven't seen me in the same room, have you?
I have not seen you.
Quick
We
hands.
actually texted about that, Jake, that we need some weird time together. Haven't had that in a while. You got all buttoned up on me.
I know. Look at me. Buttoned up Jake.
Well, that's the show.
It's a great show, guys.
We canceled it. We turned B stories into A stories. Hell, some D stories into B stories. Jake Show.
Montas.
I'm gonna hit with Yelly soon. Starting up next week. Or this week.